the end of Year 4 coming along and Season 11 on the horizon, the Division 2 team at Massive Entertainment have released a public test server, or PTS, to let us try and break some of the new additions coming in Season 11. Year 5 will be bringing us some new seasons and the new Descent game mode, but these aren't being featured in the PTS. For now, focus has been placed on various balances as well as new gear, weapons, exotics and set items. I've put a few hours into testing these out, and in this video I'm going to share my thoughts around what I've managed to muck around with so far. Before I get into it, please remember that this is a test server. It's very likely that everything I talk about here will be tweaked and adjusted before the final release. After all, this is the purpose of the PTS. The PTS has been going for a few days now, but this is the last update before Year 5 begins, so don't be expecting too much. Realistically, we're receiving 1 new brand set, 1 new gear set, 2 new named items, 2 new named weapons, 1 new weapon talent, 1 new exotic weapon, 1 new exotic item, a few PvP quality of life updates, and a growing list of game performance and other updates. Immediately we can see that the focus has been placed on Marksman rifles and status effects to a lesser extent with this update. Both the brand set and the gear set provide bonuses to Marksman rifles and headshots. This is pretty standard, the last one or two have been focused on skills, so I'm actually pretty stoked to see some attention being brought to the sniper builds. However, when comparing my current one-shot sniper build to this new hotshot gear set, after a number of tweaks, I actually wasn't getting very high numbers. I would say that this is a much easier way to build high damage snipers, and the extra armor is useful, but I think I prefer my original build to what this new set is offering. Like I said, I expect we'll see some tweaks here. Not that I want this to be the only thing to run while using a marksman rifle, I just like it to be a little more relevant. If I'm sniping, I'm running a glass cannon to get the most out of my shots. The armor is nice, but at high difficulties with a low rate of fire, this seems a little redundant. But the new brand set, Habsburg Guard, there seems to be a little something different going on here. It starts off similar, with headshot damage and marksman rifle damage, but then it moves into status effects, which seems like a weak 3-piece bonus to me. Both the new named pieces to this set also delve into status effects. The chest has a 20-second cooldown, so I don't really see this being too popular over other options. But the backpack could be interesting with the right crowd control or status effect build. The Sacrum Imperium is the new exotic variation of the G28 marksman rifle. It has the talent The Trap. Summing it up, you can tag up to a maximum of 10 enemies by viewing them in your sights. Killing one of the marked targets with a headshot will apply a 10-second burn status effect and 50% movement speed decrease on all other targets. This is interesting, but it falls into the same trap as most of the other exotic weapons, as being a little too situational and underwhelming to be of any real use in the long term. Targets need to be held in your sights for over 2 seconds before they are marked, and when everything is running around and shooting at you, this is a long time. This is really only useful as an ambush weapon before the hostiles have been aggroed, but then again it takes so long to mark a group that I'm not sure that I'd bother. However, I must say the design of this weapon is awesome. The new named weapons are the Prophet Revolver and the Relic G28 Marksman Rifle. I absolutely love their perfect talent, but just not on these weapons. Killing an enemy with a headshot guarantees that the next shot will be a critical headshot. If I could put this on the White Death or some other hard-hitting sniper, I would be a very happy man. But the non-perfect version of this talent is a little different. After killing an enemy with a headshot, the next shot landed on any enemy will be a guaranteed headshot. I'm sure people will find a use for this, perhaps when using a controller, but for me, the guaranteed critical hit was what made this talent stick out. Imagine a sniper build where you can focus on just headshot damage and critical hit damage, completely ignoring critical hit chance. There have been a number of PvP quality of life changes, mainly relating to skills, more specifically, jammers and the shrapnel trap. I don't play this game for its unique PvP experience, so I can't really comment on these. But one thing that has been an area of contention across the community is the addition of a couple of raid exotics into the Dark Zone loot pool. There are actually 3 exotics being added, but the Bighorn is already available outside the raids. I didn't realize how divided the community really was around this until I stumbled across a couple of long threads that were getting very heated. I can actually see the argument from both sides, but I'm not really that passionate about either. I agree there should be some unique rewards for those who complete the raid. But if that's all it was, people would only complete the raid once anyway. There is obviously something else raid players are gaining from completing this game mode. I'm someone who doesn't have all the raid exotics. Not through a lack of trying, it's just very difficult for me to find a team of 7 other players to run through it that are able to work with my difficult time zone. But at the same time, I'm really not that worried about missing out on a couple of different weapons. The addition of these 2 weapons into the Dark Zone likely won't impact how often I frequent the area. Regardless of how small this update is, there is one thing that I'm very much looking forward to. The Ninja Bike Messenger Bag Exotic Backpack. Those of you who played through the Division 1 should remember this. It was the most sought after exotic in the game at one stage, before classified sets came along and ruined all the build diversity. This piece of gear acts as a filler to complete the requirements towards unlocking gear set bonuses. The reason this is a game changer is that it can be used to complete requirements for more than one set at a time, while only taking up one slot. This will mean that we're able to unlock more bonuses than we've been able to up until now. It essentially opens up a whole new tier of build options. Unfortunately, this isn't available in the PTS, but expect to see a huge number of build videos coming up from YouTubers in the future, as they redefine all of your favourite builds. I'm not sure how long this PTS goes for, or if we'll be seeing multiple different tiers like we've seen in different ones, but if I had to guess, I'd say this won't be a long one. March marks the end of Year 4, so they'll be wanting to have everything sorted well before then. I need to repeat what I said earlier. Everything I've shown here is subject to change. While this gives a good indication of what is to come, individual talents and specs are likely to be adjusted following the end of the PTS. I hope you found this video useful, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers!
Piece of shit wristwatch.